Hello, Elly here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for another YouTube flow. Today we are going to be doing a heart opening practice, but this is going to be a little bit more of a gentle heart opening practice. So there will be different options throughout. As always, listening to your body, taking what you need from this class. So we will start in a lying position on our front today, so a little bit different. So lying down on your front, and we will start with coming into this crocodile pose, so resting pose. You can bring the elbows out to the side, or you can have the arms in a comfortable position and just rest your head down. You can close off the eyes. And start to notice your breath. Notice if you can feel your belly expanding as you breathe. Maybe you can feel it pressing into the mat and then coming away. Allowing the legs to relax. Taking a moment to check in with how you're feeling. So now we'll start to open the eyes if you had them closed. Bring some movement into the body. Take an inhale and roll the shoulders back. Peel the chest away from the mat. And find your Sphinx position. So forearms coming down to the mat and the elbows are roughly underneath the shoulders here. Gaze is coming forwards. And just allowing the spine to start to gently extend. Inhaling here, and then on the exhale, all the movement coming from the head, start to drop your head down, finding an opening into the back of the neck. Inhale, lifting the head, sending the gaze forwards. Exhale, dropping the head. Inhale, lifting the gaze. Staying here. Lovely. Exhale, release. Lower the chest back down to the mat. And wiggle your hips from side to side. Just gently wiggling. And now we'll bring the hands in so that they're roughly underneath the shoulders. Inhale and lift the chest away. Bring yourself through to a tabletop position on your mat. And you're going to start to come into some cat and cow. And I want you to really move with your breath. So on your inhale, just letting the belly sink down, opening across the chest, shining the heart forwards. On your exhale, dropping the head, rounding the spine, drawing the belly button in. Inhale, lifting the gaze, opening across the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine. And you can make these movements as fluid or as slow as you want them to be. So moving back into some mobilization with the spine. Letting your breath lead you, letting your breath lead the movements. This is a breath-led practice. Finishing off that last cat and cow now. And then now I'm going to give you an option. Now you can either stay working with your usual cat and cow, if that's what feels good to you. If that feels enough for you, then please just working there. Or you're going to walk the hands out slightly, and we're going to start to make these movements a little bit bigger. So, for example, as you exhale, maybe you're sitting the hips down towards the heels into this child's pose position, and then moving forwards and seeing is if you lift the hips away from the heels, keeping that belly button drawn drawing in, can't speak, shifting the shoulders forward and then moving into a cobra position. So we're waving the spine. So moving through this rounding of the spine and then gently into an opening through the spine. But your movements don't need to be as big as this. You could be staying with cat and cow. You could be doing a different version of what I'm doing. So moving with the breath. Noticing how the spine feels, having a little bit of creativity. Beautiful, well done. Now we're going to meet, coming back to a all fours position, your tabletop position. You can always pop something under the knees to cushion them if your knees feel sensitive here. And we're going to walk the hands out, so finding your extended puppy pose now. So the forehead and the heart is melted down towards the mat. Hips are staying above the knees. Breathing here. So this is our melting heart pose. We often think of the heart in this chest area in the front of the body, but actually the heart is ever so slightly closer to the back of the body. So this is why often doing back bends, spinal extension, we are opening into the heart space. Inhale, start to draw the belly button in and walk the hands back to neutral. From here, tuck your toes under. Exhale, send your hips to the sky for your downward facing dog, or take a child's pose. Press the mat away from you with your hands. We're pressing the thumb and the first finger really into the mat. This is the strongest part of our hand. Lifting the hips to the sky, and you can bend your legs as much as you need to. You can take a pedal out through the feet here if that feels good too. Opening into the backs of the legs. Breathing into that movement. On your next inhale, we're going to shift the shoulders forwards. And as you do so, you're going to step this right foot in between the hands and drop your back knee straight down. Now, if you need to come into this a slightly different way to how I just did it, that is okay. Now, you might like to have your blocks here. And if you're using your blocks, we've got the blocks framing that front foot. And this is a nice way to support you in your practice. So taking that option if you wish to. The next option is that we're starting with the hands on the ground, and make sure that this front knee is in line with the ankle. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky and lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, bring your arms into cactus, opening across the chest, shining the heart forward, breathing here. Can you float your arms around, and either hands find the elbows or they take an interlace, rolling those shoulders back. Stay with the breath. And release the hands from the interlace, bringing them back down to the mat. Tuck under that back toe. And we're going to step that right foot back, find your downward facing dog. If you want to come through all fours, tabletop position to get here, then you absolutely can. Reconnect to your breath. And quite often when we do a lot of heart opening poses, this can really release a lot of tension from the body. And it can also often bring up different emotions, different things that are there within us.
So just give yourself plenty of space and compassion during and after the practice. Always coming back to ahimsa, non-violence, and that's towards ourselves as well as others. Inhale, start to step the left foot through this time, stepping it between the hands, draw up the back knee down, find your low lunge. Left knee is stacked above the ankle. Option to take the blocks here. If you want to work with the blocks in your low lunge and you're quite happy here, then stay with this option. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky, really lift it up and out from the waist. So the left leg's activated. We're using our core and we're not dumping into the lower spine. We're really lifting and lengthening this whole time. On the exhale, find your cactus position with the arms, opening across the chest, shining that heart forwards. Can you release the arms and bring the hands to the elbows or take the interlace behind the back? Stay with the breath. And release the hands back down to the ground, tuck the right foot under, step the left foot back to downward facing dog, or you can come back to all fours, send the hips to the sky from there. On your next inhale, step or walk the feet in towards the hands. Keeping some softness in the legs, hands come to hips, draw the belly in. Inhale, come back to standing Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, from here, reach the fingertips up to the sky, lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, find your cactus position. So just so that you can see me here, arms in cactus. We're going to inhale, lengthening the spine. As you exhale, can you twist to the right? Option to lengthen the arms, send your gaze to the back of the room or towards the right fingertips. Make your way back to center, cactus the arms. Inhale again here, make space first. As you exhale, twist. Staying in your cactus, option to then lengthen the arms, send the gaze over the left fingertips. Breathing here. Notice how we're really doing this movement, initiating from the waist. Lovely, come back to center and release. Take a couple of shoulder rolls, take a little wiggle through the arms. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, lift your ribs away from your hips. Exhale, we come back to cactus. Inhale here, lift and lengthen. This time, as we exhale, we're going to come into a stretch over to the right. So allow the arms to lengthen. And we're really stretching into this left side body. So I'll look opposite to you. Don't worry, we'll just do both sides. And this right hand can slide down the right leg if you want to come deeper into the stretch, but keeping the heart shining towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back to center, cactus. Take a breath here. On the exhale, come into your stretch, over to the other side. Breathing here, gaze is coming towards the sky. And release, well done. Take a little shake out, a shoulder roll, anything that you need. Coming back to the top of your mat, grounding through the feet. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, hinge from the hips, bend the legs as much as you need to, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, draw the hands down to the mat, step the feet back. I'll come through a modified chaturanga with you. So exhale, drop the knees down, lower the body down so you're lying on your belly. Hands come underneath the shoulders, fingers touching. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, legs coming together. Lift the chest away from the mat. Legs are switched on. Exhale, drop the chest back down to the ground. Inhale, pressing through the hands, either come through your tabletop position or on your exhale, send those hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Breathing here. Reconnect to your breath. Remember that you can take a child's pose at any time if you wish to. Inhale, send the gaze between the hands, step or walk the feet in, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bend the legs as much as you need to. Inhale, draw the belly button in, sweep the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands through to heart center, Jali Mudra. Now, grounding through the right foot, step the left foot back, find a high lunge. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can drop that left knee back down to the mat, to a low lunge to modify here. What we want is this front knee above the ankle. The back leg can be bent if it needs to be. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky, lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, cactus. Breathing here. And just remember, if you would rather focus on the lunge here, you can take out these arm movements. Take the option that you need today. There's no right or wrong when you're listening to your body. Release the arms. Can you find that interlace or take the hands to the elbows behind your back, open across the chest. Keep lifting up and out from the waist. And now we release the hands from the interlace, bring them to the hips, and we'll open out into a wide leg position on the mat. Toes are pointing forwards, or you can pigeon toe the feet slightly. Take the interlace with the hands behind the back. Or you can take the hands to the elbows, or they could be reaching behind. So take the option that feels right for you. Inhale, reach the crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forwards into your Prasarita Padottanasana with the interlace, so that the hands are dropping over. This feels too strong, then you don't have to take the arm option. You can come into the fold without it. See if you can gently shift the weight forwards into the balls of the feet. Really subtle, gentle movement. We're not coming up on tiptoes or anything like that. It's a gentle shift of the weight. Lovely. Inhale. Use your core. So draw the belly button in as you lift back up, releasing from the interlace. Now we'll move on to the lunge on the left side. So left leg's bent at the front. Again, drop this back knee down to modify here. Check in with the front knee. This needs to be above the ankle. Inhale, sweep the fingertips up to the sky. Lift up and out from the waist. Exhale, cactus. Breathing here. Now, can you release the arms and bring them back to that interlace, or hands to the elbows, Opening across the chest. And every time you inhale, keep coming back to that lift. We're lifting and lengthening the spine. Well done. Release the hands, bring them back to the hips, step the feet in so that we're coming back to Tadasana. Now, either grounding through the feet or option to come up on the toes. So working with a little bit of balance, bring the hands out in front. Start to bend through the legs. We're lowering down to the mat. If you need to bring your hands down at any time, then you can. And what we're going to do as we lower down, use the hands to come down in front to support you. Bring the legs down to the mat, so coming to all fours, and then walk the hands in, come into a high kneeling position. If you feel that you would like to take a child's pose here or a resting pose, please listen to your body and take that. Gonna bring the hands to the lower back. So we're gonna come into some camel today. We're gonna focus more on a modified version of camel. Full camel is quite a strong place to be for a lot of us. That's in your practice and you wanna take that, please do. But otherwise, we're gonna bring the hands to the lower back and squeeze the elbows in together. As you inhale, lifting the ribs away from the hips, we're pressing the hips forwards, engaging the legs and the glutes, and as you exhale, finding this really subtle back bend to begin with. So what we're doing is pressing the hips forwards. We're using the core, we're using the legs, the muscles in the legs, the lower body, sending the gaze towards the ceiling or in that direction. If you want to come back further, you absolutely can. But take what feels right for you and thinking all the time about the fact that we're releasing tension from the body. We're not adding. Inhale, come back to neutral, well done. Now sit the hips down towards the heels, release the hands. We'll take a gentle shift from side to side. Check in with how you're feeling. You might like to come to a child's pose here. We're going to come into the second round of camel, but that's just an option. If you don't want to take that, then come into a resting pose instead. So lifting the hips away from the heels, so the legs are roughly hip width. Option to tuck the toes under here. That can be a really nice option for camel, depending on what feels right for you. So bringing the hands to the lower part of the back, elbows squeezing together. Inhale, make space first. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. As you exhale, start to come into this heart opener. Could be really subtle. You could be just thinking about squeezing the elbows in together, opening across the chest. Maybe the gaze is coming to the ceiling. Keep the legs switched on. And option to bring the hands down if that feels good too. Just an option. You can drop the head back and open into the throat. Again, if that's in your practice. I'm not going to do that here because I need to talk. Keep breathing, keep pressing those hips forwards. Come out at any time if you need to. Inhale, bring the hands back to the hips if you brought them away, or the lower back, sorry. And lift the chest gently away. Sit the hips back towards the heels. Gently shift from side to side. Well done. Now I want you to bring the hands on the thighs before we move into our child's pose. We're just going to let the spine settle a little. So you can close the eyes here or take a steady gaze. And bring one of the hands to this chest area, so to our heart center. We have a energy center here and a hat of the heart chakra. And just take some gentle tapping. And this can be a nice way to get the energy in this area moving. You can notice how this area of the body feels. Does it feel soft or hard? Does it feel restricted? Tense? There's no right or wrong. Release the hand, bring it back down to the legs. Open the eyes if you have them closed. And then we'll walk the hands, finding your child's pose, but being really gentle together. We've just done some spine extension with our camel. And so now we are just really being mindful to listen to the body, notice how the spine feels as we come into this counter movement, where we're gently flexing the spine. So melt the forehead down towards the mat. You can close off the eyes if that feels good too. Try and make sure that your forehead is connected to something, whether that's popping it on a block, whether that's bringing it to the mat. Breathing here. Really observing what's alive for you today. And if you want to stay in your child's pose longer, come into a meditation, shavasana here, then please do. You're ready to now come out of this practice. Inhale and just gently walk your hands back in towards the body. Gently coming away. Meeting back in a seated position on your mat. You can bring your hands back to your heart center. Just gently press your hands into this space. Notice the connection. Thank you so much for being here, joining me for this practice. I really appreciate your support of this channel, so do comment and let me know how you're getting on. Do subscribe, and if you want to see more of what I offer, then do follow the link below to my membership and other things that I do. And yeah, I would love to flow with you again. Can't wait to see you again soon. Bye bye.